The facts as they are, brought to you every day, only on GIS Channel 7.
The Dominica Association of Teachers holds its 17th annual general meeting. Seaborne Airlines president is optimistic about the new relationship, and the Discover Dominica Authority adopts a new goal for stayover visitors to the island. Hello and thanks for joining us on another edition of National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector.
And I'm Fontaine. Stay with us for details of the headline stories and others after the break.
Listen closely and you will hear what climate change might sound like. Hurricanes getting stronger and more frequent. Glaciers melting, causing a rise in sea levels. Dry bush burning after a prolonged drought left the bushes vulnerable to fires.
What? No water again?
But listen closely again and you will hear the solutions. People switching to energy-saving light bulbs. People building stronger homes that can withstand hurricane force winds. Our climate may be changing, but so can we. Making small changes together can have a huge effect on reducing the impacts of climate change. Act now. Rally. Rethink. Respond. This message is brought to you by the OECS Secretariat with funded assistance from USAID.
Documentaries and in-depth discussions, community walkthroughs, and Yes We Care. See it all on GIS Channel 7.
Welcome back. Seaborne Airlines made its first inaugural flight to the Melville Hall Airport on Monday, marking the consummation of the new relationship. At the launching ceremony, Chairman of the Dominica Air and Seaport Authority, Benoit Bardwell, expressed pleasure at the beginning of what he hoped would be a productive alliance.
We are indeed delighted to be able, after the service of American Eagle has come to an end, to be able to instantly or seamlessly bring about a new service to Dominica out of San Juan. We have been in negotiations with Seaborne for a few months, and I dare say that it was indeed very tough to be able to get the service instituted as of the 1st of April, because there was a very strong demand from the traveling public and from the business community that Dominica should not lose any service as it relates to connections out of Puerto Rico. And so we are here today to be able to say to you and to the traveling public that we are indeed pleased that we have been able to see through and to get all the necessary certification to ensure that Seaborne Airlines can be in Dominica today.
Bardwell also noted that importantly, Seaborne Airlines has made baggage arrangements for the convenience of its passengers who have connecting flights.
Seaborne Airlines is pleased also to say to us that they have an interliner agreement with American Airlines, which means that the passengers utilizing Seaborne will be able to have their bags tagged through to American. And that's important for our travelers because not many of us like to have to recheck our bags time and time again, and especially given the fact that we have been working on air access issues for quite a while, we would not like a new issue where persons seeking to connect to American would have to again go back to recheck their bags when they arrive in Puerto Rico.
Director of Tourism and CEO of the Discover Dominica Authority, Colin Piper, believes that Seaborne Airlines will mean great things for Dominica's air access development as well as with the new goal adopted by the DDA.
We're pleased to have been a part of that. Many of you would also recognize that we have a new rallying cry for the destination, and that is 90,000 visitors by 2015.
Excellent.
And so it's very important for us to continue to have air access out of San Juan, which is a key hub to the North American market, in particular the United States. So we recognize that American Eagle provided us with some 16,000 or service some 16,000 plus seats. And we are encouraged by the fact that Seabourn will be taking up a majority of that. And of course, we've had to work to look at alternate routes and to look at other service providers to make up the difference. But we want to make sure that the private sector is behind the service that is provided by Seabourn through San Juan, that in all your communications with your tour operators, with your travel agents abroad, that you continue to stress the convenience of this service. Gary will get into some of the timing and whatnot, but you know, leaving San Juan at 11:45 a.m. So allowing you to come in from the East Coast and from Florida in one day and actually turn around and go back out and get to Miami or get to the state of New York and the East Coast in same day.
President of Seabourn Airlines Gary Foss revealed that based on feedback from other Caribbean countries, the withdrawal of American Eagle not only affects Dominica but other regional islands as well. He made these remarks about the airline.
In that we've been flying primarily out of the U.S. Virgin Islands, but have been operating for 19 years. And recently we've been spreading our wings from San Juan to not only St. Thomas and St. Croix, but we launched service to Tortola, to Virgin Gorda, to Vieques, and now this great day to Dominica. Next, in about a month and a half, we're going to begin operations to Martinique and also to Guadeloupe. Okay, from San Juan, Puerto Rico. I'm in conversation right now with a few other countries for air service. So again, you're one of the very few that is keeping good contiguous service, you know, with the pullout of American Eagle. So this is a great thing. We maintain at Seabourn the highest FAA standard, Federal Aviation Administration standard, for maintenance and for pilot training. We're called a Part 121 carrier, which is the same as United Airlines, American Airlines, Delta, and all of those have in place. And that's not the norm for the regional business. And so we actually have FAA inspectors that show up on our property every day, 4 or 5 of them, just like Seabourn employees, you know, so this is a very good, safe operation and safe plane. We will operate weekly, 7 round trips.
Managing Director of Whitchurch, Gary Aird, stated that his organization is appreciative of the opportunity to work so closely with the newly inaugurated airline.
It's a tremendous responsibility because we all know how important the Puerto Rico hub is to Dominica and to obviously to our visitors. So we can't afford to mess up. We have had a ground handling company since the mid-1980s at both Canefield and Melville Hall. And we have seen so many airlines come and go, and it has been a struggle, I must say, to keep going as a ground handling company. However, we're delighted today, the 1st of April 2013, that we are the ones chosen.
Seabourn Airlines will service the San Juan Dominica route with 34 seats per trip and a 95% on-time performance rating.
Meanwhile, President of Seabourn Airlines, Gary Foss, speaking at the airline's inaugural landing at Melville Hall Airport on Monday, looks forward to great results from the new partnership between the carrier and Dominica. According to Foss, the schedule, which now includes regular flights from Dominica to San Juan, Puerto Rico, will help position Dominica to take advantage of the international tourism market.
The schedule is going to connect business and leisure travelers, as Colin shared with you, from major markets: Boston, New York, Washington, Chicago, Dallas, Fort Worth, Miami, and Los Angeles. Of course, you have a lot of traffic, believe it or not, from Los Angeles. Plus the international connections that you'll pick up at San Juan. They have 300 departures a day that will be connecting to 700 departures a day out of Miami. You know, so a lot of you're definitely part of the global transportation grid. You know, with the San Juan service.
Furthermore, the Seaborn executive says his company believes strongly in being exemplary corporate citizens, so much so that Seaborn is resolute about contributing to the local economy, firstly through employment.
One of the things I wanted to talk about today, aside from bringing, it's not just about connecting seats and flights and schedules, but one of the things that we take very seriously at Seaborn is being good members of the community. Okay, and we really believe this strongly. And so we believe in hiring locally wherever we go and trying to grow that employment as we grow our traffic and our business, you know, and keep the money in the local economy.
Additionally, Foss stated that his company will play its part in directing tourism dollars toward the Dominican economy.
One of the things that we can do as a Caribbean carrier is offer special promotional fares and try to see if we can send in sales teams to stimulate the local market. Okay, so we have a $116 fare to San Juan, Puerto Rico. Effective today, I'm going to extend that through the end of April for ticketing through April 30th. Okay, and you can travel, your people can travel through the end of the year. And we're going to keep that coming, and not just to San Juan, Puerto Rico. So anywhere that we're flying online, and we're going to try to do what we can. So that's our commitment, is to try to work with you locally and see that's all good for, it's good for you, it's good for your economy, and it's good for us.
Seaborn also intends to participate in nation building by contributing to local charitable organizations.
So we're very big on sponsoring local charities, whether it be the Boy Scouts, whether it be something that I'm personally involved with as children's cancer groups, you know, pediatric cancer groups, you know, those kinds of things where we can try to help the local community and help good organizations raise money. So we're committed to all those things.
The airline's president communicated his optimism about the new relationship, stating that while the new route means growth for Seaborn, it means improvements for Dominica as well.
Pearl, there are a lot of statements being made about this new arrangement. There are a lot of opinions, a lot of thoughts, and I would like to know your thoughts. What do you think of Seaborn joining our team?
Well, first let me say I'm really excited about this new venture, and I think the wider population should be, you know, excited as well. More so for me. I believe that this was a major concern for nationals and even for people wanting to come to Dominica. Like recently, my mom said to me, Pearlie, what's going to happen when, you know, American Eagle stops flying to Dominica? And I thought, oh my God, she said, please ask the Prime Minister this. So I think earlier on this year, we had an interview with him, and I said, but PM, you know, with Liat, what's going to happen? And he did say that Seaborn was coming in. And I'm really relieved and optimistic and encouraged by this whole new venture.
So what do you think of our future looking forward? What do you think is going to happen next?
Well, I think along with the DDA and their new marketing strategies, I think that having Seaborn on board is a plus for Dominica. I think that might incite other carriers to decide, you know what, Dominica seems like an attractive island. Let's go there. So you never know.
A positive point I noticed throughout the story that the president is he seems to be very in touch with what we need, and he seems excited and optimistic like you about contributing to the economy and playing his own role. And I think that's important because we always call for corporate citizens to play their part, and he's coming first off and saying that Seaborn is going to play their own part. So we appreciate that.
It's almost like they want to become part of our family.
We would welcome that as well.
Yeah, we would.
Moving on, the Discover Dominica Authority, or DDA, has seen the merits of adopting a new and more specific goal to increase tourist visits to Dominica. According to the CEO of the DDA and Dominica's Tourism Director, Colin Piper, the intention is to attract at least 90,000 stayover visitors to Dominica by the year 2015. This concept stemmed from the recently concluded Tourism Summit held here late March.
The consultants have proposed that in order for Dominica to remain sustainable in the tourism industry, we really need to get to a figure of 90,000 stayover visitors by 2015. And so there was a rallying cry at that tourism summit for all involved to understand that goal. And I suppose this would be the first opportunity to say that to Dominicans at large, is that collectively, not DDA, not the Ministry of Tourism, not the DHTA, not DWA, but collectively, Destination Dominica needs to be moving in one direction, and that direction is for 90,000 stayover visitors by 2015.
That figure, says Piper, represents steady growth of 7% per annum. This growth, though challenging, requires the best efforts of each sector comprising the local community.
It's a tough target, but we all have to look inward and determine what it is that we can do differently to assist the nation in doing so. So every individual needs to look at how they can play their part, every property, every service provider, as well as the public sector.
According to Piper, an organized and targeted approach must be agreed on by both the public and private sectors. He called for a partnership to achieve the 90,000 visitor mark.
It's not the DDA or the MOT or the DHTA, it's the destination that needs to put its best foot forward, and as such, we were looking at what sorts of things we could do from a marketing perspective and just a joint collaboration perspective to get results. At the end of the day, the private sector has made a sizable investment in property, both to provide accommodation and to provide services. The government has made great investment in infrastructure, and we need to capitalize on that. So we wanted to foster greater collaboration, and coming out of this summit, I think there's a better understanding of how we can do that, the need to do that, and how we can do that, and essentially some dedicated response from both.
A corporate strategy and action plan for the Discover Dominica Authority was the highlight of the Tourism Summit. That meeting was declared successful by Dominica's Tourism Minister, Honorable Ian Douglas.
In more news, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Scarrett, in a recent interview with GIS News, spoke about the implementation of legislation with regard to the Economic Union. Talks of this emerged at the recently held OECS Parliament meeting.
We had taken a decision to hold back in Dominica's case because back then we were ahead of everybody else, and we wanted to ensure that there's seriousness across the board, because we don't want to have a situation where Dominica would have implemented all the measures and others would not have done that. Now that we see some equal degree of commitment, we have given a commitment that the next time we meet at this level, Dominica would have put in place all its legislation. And we'll be going to Parliament in the month of April to pass all legislation relating to the Economic Union that are outstanding. So that will be done in the month of April 2013.
He also addressed the issue of free movement within the OECS. He says several decisions were taken in this respect.
If you're a St. Lucian citizen coming to Dominica, we cannot give you time to reside in Dominica. You have to be given the same benefits as if you were born in Dominica. One of the decisions is that we should be able to use our national ID cards once they're in place to allow somebody to come into a country. So they don't necessarily need a passport. We have also taken a decision at the authority level, the heads of government level, to allow our citizens to also use their driver's license to come into Dominica, into our countries. But that driver's license would also need to include your nationality, because you may have somebody who is not a Vincentian living in St. Vincent with a Vincentian driver's license, but is not a citizen of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And another decision we've taken in respect to the driver's license is that you could use that driver's license to drive in the respective country. So a Dominican going to Grenada and wanting to rent a vehicle should not be required to get a permit, a driving permit, to drive in Grenada. He should be able to use his Dominica issued driver's license to drive in Grenada. But we have to amend our legislation here to allow it to happen, and that's the case in many of the other countries.
He also says what the OECS is trying to achieve with regard to free movement is comparable to how the 50 states operate within the United States of America.
It's a single economic space. For example, if you're a company and you're registered in Dominica and you want to operate in St. Kitts, you will not and you should not be required to register in St. Kitts again. The mere fact that you're registered in Dominica, you can establish a business in St. Kitts or any of the OECS countries. And there are issues also of contingent rights. And what are the benefits which a citizen who is moving freely under the economic union is entitled to? The issue of healthcare, the issue of education. So whatever benefits you're offering your citizens, these citizens should be entitled to the benefits.
The Prime Minister reaffirmed government's commitment to the economic union by stating that Dominica will not exhibit prejudice to nationals of other OECS countries wishing to move to Dominica. He says they will not be exempt from the privileges that Dominicans enjoy in education and health care.
Access to education has been part of our policy for a very long time. So irrespective of where you come from across the world, once your child is of school age, that child would have access to the school system and would enjoy the same benefits as if you were born in Dominica. And healthcare, we will not deny anybody from any part of the world, far less citizens of the OECS, from any medical treatment at any of our health centers or any of our hospitals here in Dominica.
GIS News will bring you more from this interview in tomorrow's newscast.
Finally, the Dominica Association of Teachers, or the DAT, held its 17th annual general meeting at the Garaway Hotel on Wednesday under the theme, The Future of the Teaching Profession in the Caribbean. President of the DAT, Celia Nicholas, delivered the welcome remarks.
We are very happy that you are here with us to share this moment in time, because it's very important to us that the Dominica Association of Teachers, we were able to seek the assistance of CARICOM, technical expertise, and we were blessed. This is an indication of the recognition of the work of the Dominica Association of Teachers, not only nationally, but regionally, and I dare say internationally.
The meeting was addressed by Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Honorable Peter Seja, who stated that the DAT has an excellent track record as a representative for the island's educators.
Over the past years, the Dominica Association of Teachers, DAT, has certainly demonstrated a profound understanding of its role. A professional body, or I should say a truly professional body, charged with protecting the best interests of its members. However, I feel obligated to say to you, the DAT, that the future of education, to say the least, poses even more interesting challenges. I believe that the DAT must be commended for the role that it has played over the past years in ensuring that it does not just give representation to its members, but that it has served a truly professional role in the development of teachers nationally.
Minister Seja expressed the need for what he called a cohesive voice to speak for teachers in Dominica. The featured speaker at that association's meeting was Dr. Morella Joseph, the CARICOM Secretariat's Program Manager for Human Resource Development and a former teacher. Dr. Joseph delivered a presentation on the future of the profession in the Caribbean. She listed a few needs of the profession regionally.
It needs to be regulated in order to maintain high international standards. It requires the requisite professional and academic skills, the mechanisms that support quality assurance in the teaching profession, being able to be registered and licensed and have the qualifications to be able to teach right? Being involved in continuous professional development. These are all the mechanisms that we're referring to. And these are necessary in order to improve the quality of teaching and learning.
She also spoke of the importance of teachers for human resource development and what makes a good teacher. The highlight of the opening ceremony was the recognition of deserving educators. Mr. Hartley Adams for 37 years, Mr. David Kentish for 39 years, Miss Marie Wilkins for 40 years, Mrs. Jennifer Wallace-Lafort also for 40 years, and Brother Henry French for 61 years of service to the profession. We'll bring you more from that ceremony in subsequent newscasts. And that's the English news. When we come back, we'll tell you one way to cultivate patience.
Listen closely and you will hear what climate change might sound like.
$30 for a hand of bananas?
Severe drought could destroy banana plants and drive food prices up.
And now we can see the dead coral reef below us.
Dead coral? I thought it was alive.
No, it's dead. If you look at the pictures, you can see what the coral used to look like.
Oh, wow.
Natural wonders like coral reefs are disappearing. But listen closely again, and you can hear the solution. People disposing of garbage responsibly and not in drains and rivers. People responsibly discarding engine oil. Our climate may be changing, but so can we. Making small changes together can have a huge effect on reducing the impacts of climate change. Act now. Rally, rethink, respond. This message is brought to you by the OECS Secretariat with funded assistance from USAID.
Documentaries and in-depth discussions, community walkthroughs, and Yes We Care. See it all on GIS Channel 7, Channel 7, Channel 7, Channel 7, Channel 7, Channel.
In order to cultivate patience, try reflecting on all the things you've gained by waiting. When you can think of positive outcomes that have come from waiting, it puts into perspective why rushing into things is not always the best strategy.
Patience can seem unachievable to those of us who struggle with it, but don't worry if you slip back into impatient mode now and again. Patience is a skill, not an inborn talent, and therefore can be acquired by anyone with the will to learn. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and your comments. Please drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm.
You can also friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. Catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Pearl Fontaine.
And I'm Jarna Hector. Thank you so much for watching.